Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. We're fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey since day one, and that's been quite a while now. So thank you, Folgers. We appreciate you so very much. Also, big thank you to Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, for his contribution of his music, his time, and his voice for the intro that you just heard. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite streaming platforms. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram, and also specializes in the horror genre and does phenomenal commission pieces and graphic novels. You name it, he can do it of any type. So thank you, thank you. So tonight, of course, we welcome back our dear friend, Dolly Safran, also fellow host of The Light Gate here on Monday nights. Now I think it is 8 p.m. Eastern time, 8 to 10. So check them out with Preston Dennett. Always a good time, always very informative. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. Dolly is a lifetime, very aware, fully conscious contactee, and she's got a whole pile of stuff to talk about. As always, you guys can check out all of the archives here from both Preston and Dolly on the show. And I see we're all chiming in, so it's nice to see everybody. We just have quite a few people, so we know we got folks coming over from their channels as well. So welcome to all of you, especially if you have not tuned in before. Going to be interesting, to say the least. So we have our regulars. So hi.
Those time zones are crazy, right? Like you look at Europe, and I was talking about this today. You look at Europe, and there's not that much of a difference from England to, let's say, Portugal or Spain, or you know what I mean? Like there's not much. You go across North America, and it's like there is it Alberta that has where they don't change 1 year, and 1 year they do change the time or stay the same.
Well, I don't know. There's places in the United States too, though, that doesn't do the time change.
Right below Alberta, like the same time zone there.
Yeah, they just refuse to do it. So they just don't do the time change. You can go from one state to another, one town to another. It's just, I
think it should be that way because Alberta will do it 1 year, and every second year they don't. I have to look that up because I remember when my brother-in-law was there, I had all the time. I had the time all screwed up.
Right. I know.
Anyways, I had to learn a lot of time zones when Sammy was traveling with Joseph when he did the show with Donny Osmond there. I had to learn a lot of time zones. That was international.
Right.
Crazy. Right. But anyways, how are you?
How am I? I've had a day. Busy. Very busy.
It's been a year.
Yeah. I'm always just swamp busy. So it's just,
Yeah.
It is what it is, but hey, it's what keeps me alive and breathing. So,
oh my gosh.
But without further ado,
yes. Hello, Dolly. I can't not sing it. I can't not sing it.
I've heard it my whole life.
I just love it. Always love the name.
Yeah, too. I'm actually related to Dolly Madison, and in our family, we have to name every other generation Dolly.
That is so sweet.
My daughter would have had to name one Dolly, and she begged me. She said, "Mom, Can I name a daughter Ivy? And I went, yeah, sure, no problem. And she said, are you sure? And I said, yes.
Oh
Well,
my
you could just be like
gosh.
George Foreman and have Dolly, Dolly, and Dolly.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. How many Georges are in that family? For real though.
That'd be at least 4.
No.
Can we talk about narcissism? Like seriously, buddy.
I know. Always
Oh
fun
my
times.
goodness.
Always
Those poor,
fun
poor
times.
children.
Wow.
It's like
Well-
having 6 tuplets and they don't really have an identity.
I don't know.
Except
We
for
have-
Ina, A, and O.
Oh my gosh. My mother has 8, there are 8 of them all together, 7 girls and 1 boy. And my oldest aunt, my mother's oldest sister, is my godmother. And she's also godmother to like so many. I have 28 first cousins alone. And so my generation is just me, Dolly, Dorothy, right? But the one down from it, having cousins that are way older than me, there's a Dorothy, and a Dorothy, and everybody's got nicknames so we know who we are.
Mhm.
And it's crazy. It drives me nuts. It's like, oh, please, you know?
So Dolly is short for Dorothy?
No, it's a familial nickname because of my great grandmother, my great
Okay.
great.
I love the name. I do. I've always loved it.
Thank you. Yeah,
You know.
it's pretty
Right?
cool.
I think
identify with
it comes from my dad too. Memories of my father. He would say, "You're as beautiful as a dolly," because he didn't. Being Italian, they have to add a vowel to every English word. So
Aw,
yeah, that's what
that's
he
very
would say.
cool.
You're such a dolly. Yeah.
Yeah, my papa would say my name like that. My father's father, he spoke Polish, Russian, and English, and a couple other languages, and he'd say Dolly.
Dolly.
That-
Yeah, the emphasis would be on the first syllable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. It's uniquely you.
Thank you.
Even though there's many of you, I can't see it on anyone else, honestly. I love it.
That's
Well,
cool.
welcome back.
Thank you. That's so
You're welcome.
cool. I'm so relaxed right now. It's like, yay, home.
Well, you should be. It's just
You're with friends.
It's like it's family, right?
Right.
And
We're
like
the
how, like,
UPRN family and
Well, I'm
such.
not worried
And
about what the guest is getting, I'm not doing the board or anything like that. It's like, oh, this is cool. I'm just
Isn't
and
it
it's the
fun when you-
hardest part because as a host, the hardest part is not touching the board.
And I'm
Yes.
lucky because Michelle does that.
Well, I proved that.
I'm literally a sidekick.
It is really hard for for hosts who come on and kind of go, but I do say if there's a comment you like, we have this little star feature that you can put it up and then we put it
Yeah.
up and we know you want to address it or so on. So, just go from there.
Okay.
So, boy, oh boy, why you've been on a few times. So there's a whole array of information tonight. I
Right.
mean, we're going to discuss, things that we haven't touched on or we may have touched on. You have events coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about you catch us up on some stuff. And a question for Preston. Fortunately, you have to ask Preston in the chat room. Because,
Hi, Patsy.
all right. So there's a question and
That's cute. I love that. Yeah.
right. So
Oh my gosh.
so
think I just read that, Tom. I just read about that. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
the can
On
Yeah,
current
I know
thing.
Preston can feel free to answer in the chat room and I'll be happy to put it up.
I have a feeling it was one of those unexplained segments recently
Right.
on television.
Yes.
Because I have it in the background a lot. So
Right.
I'm trying to learn. So I'm here to learn.
Very cool. That's very cool. Okay.
So,
Well, let's start
catch
off.
us up. Catch us
current
up. Where do you
events.
want to start, Dolly?
Let's start off with some current events. We've had some interesting play on the internet lately. And a lot of people have comments about some of the things that I say and I do and how I react. And let's just get this one through first.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And I know you have the questions, Michelle, so I'll let you
Well,
ask.
I mean, you can put it any way you want. I mean, I think some of the most important things here is to realize that all of this is, your perspective of things based on your experiences. It's your life. This is what you've experienced, and it doesn't mean that you're insensitive. to everybody else's experience. This doesn't mean that you're saying, no, it didn't happen. I mean, you can't be in everybody's living room, everybody's boudoir at night if somebody's having a visitation or taking off or doing whatever. So, I think maybe people are wondering, because your experiences are, I mean, you don't have bad experiences with ET, but there's a trade-off for that. You have had all of these experiences, but you still have a trade-off with your own personal life. I mean, you're tailed, you're watched very closely because of it. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? It's not all just, fluff and, hey, we're off just beaming around the galaxy, having a great time. You are sacrificing at the same time.
Yes, I am. I have given up. Well, it's not that I've given it up. This is my chosen path. I knew a long time ago that I was going to go this way because I knew that it was going to explode around this time in our country and around the world. And I watched it from a very young child, watching my father dealing with it as well. My father worked for the government, and he was part of the shadow government as well. Mm-hmm. And he did not like it. He had a nervous breakdown when I was about 8 years old, serious nervous breakdown from it. He came home one night, he wouldn't talk to anybody, and he sat to the table at dinner, and he got up and very calmly broke every glass object in our house, including taking a metal door off its hinges. My brother and I went to my room and jumped in my closet and sat and waited. It took him an hour to finish breaking everything. My mother called for help.
That's traumatizing.
My father was in the hospital on base for over 30 days before I was even allowed to go see him. And when I did, he was under guard. Okay. And I was told that I had to be very careful what I asked him and how I acted and treated him. And I'm a smart kid, and that really set my mind to thinking. Okay. And so I did what I was told. And I told him I loved him. I couldn't wait for him to come home. I made him something and I gave it to him. That was it. And my brother, who's almost 3 years younger than me, did the same thing. And then we were escorted out. I found out later in my life that the reason he went to pieces was he was having a moral amplitude of how does he live with himself, doing the things that he was doing. That tells you something about a person when they know good and darn well that bad things are happening in the scenes and who's responsible for it. And I've learned through my lifetime who that is. Mm-hmm. I also have the experience of being with ET and being on board and then flying and picking people up and taking care of them. And this is years and years and years of doing this. I worked mostly in the Midwest, and I've seen both sides of this for people, and it breaks my heart. And that's why, because some people love it, no problem. Hey, I'm back, and then other people who are already in fear before they even realize what's going on, go completely on board. And it's one of the things that I did was I counsel people. I sit with them. I talk to them. The reason that they were shown around the ship and given things to touch and feel and see was to calm them down and help them realize that this wasn't going to be bad for them. Mm-hmm. And, as a nurse, working in an ER, I also know the fact that people come in completely sane, normal people every day, and they turn into nightmares when they walk in the ER. Don't touch me. I don't want that needle. I don't like you. Or if they're hepped up on drugs, or if they've been in an accident, their fear takes over and they become violent, angry, horrific. And then all you hear from these people after these experiences is, this was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I hate them. I hate them. Mm-hmm. From my perspective, I understand that ET contact has the same reaction out of human beings as being a nurse in an ER. When you're afraid of something, your perspective is, I'm afraid and I'm not going to like this experience no matter what you do or say to me. Mm-hmm. So I have that perspective. Yes. And it is hard. That's one of the reasons that I'm telling the truth or I'm bringing this out, because I want people to understand that one of the most important things that we can do as a civilization or as a people is, instead of propagating fear and encouraging it and propagating laying in it and not are wallowing even, and letting that fear overwhelm and consume you, to help people counsel themselves or get help to counsel them through an experience to help them see it for what it really was. That's what I thought hypnotherapy for a lot of people who go through this was so fantastic, because a hypnotherapist's job is not to exacerbate fear or horror. It is to get you to talk about it, not push you into a memory, but to allow the memory to come freely, and then get you to open your eyes, shine a light into the room, and really see what's happening. Now, if it's truly horror, it will be truly horror. But from the research that I've done, and Preston as well, we've learned that more than 85 or 90% of these people actually recall, and they go, "Oh, well, that wasn't so bad," you know, and it helps them. And I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. I just want to help. And so we put people on the show that have experiences, and we want you to talk about it. But sometimes you'll see me interject something to try to help bring light into the room with you and help you see what it really is. And some people don't like it when I do that. You know, they take offense to it. And it's because on their side of it, fear is still guiding their walk against knowing the truth. The real
How do you know, because there are people out there who have really horrific experiences. And I know that we've talked about this many times, and maybe people just missed the show. Preston's been on, and we've talked to him about it as well. You know, what do you think? I mean, in your research and Preston's research, what do you think the percentage of people who have had really bad experiences? Because, I mean, do you think it, I mean, I don't want to say, like, I don't have a lot of recollection of mine. I have some recollection of mine, and maybe that's for a reason. Maybe there's something I'm blocking out, or maybe they're just keeping me from knowing for my own safety. I don't know. Whatever the case may be.
It is, and unfortunately, from Preston's research and from what I know for myself on the other side, my labbing is a common experience all over this country and all over the world. They're experts at it, and they've been doing it for a long time. When I say there's a false flag, you bet. And they're training people to be terrified of ET.
Right.
And a lot of these people who have that kind of horrific experience have a lot of things in common. There's a checkoff list. When you hear it go, you think, oh, okay. One of them is needles. The other one is drugs. The other one is, I'm not sure I was on board, and then they start describing what's around them and going on, and you can tick, tick, tick. That's not ET at all. It's made to look like ET, but it's not.
Right.
It
Who
is.
would that be? It's not ET.
Anybody on the street who has had any experience at all that they remember it, they'll come after you. They have a way of knowing who you are, and they will come after you. And it's everyday people just as well as everybody else. The military is rife with it.
Right.
Rife with it. And their children and their children's children and their families are rife with it. Think about how many military people there are. One of the first things I find out, do you live near a base? Oh, Lord, have you tried to go to the base or do any research on the base? Or it is your social media full of you looking up UFO information? That will tag you in half a second to them, because they immediately mark you down as somebody they need to make sure that you are afraid.
Like if you're associated with military, you mean?
Yes, absolutely. You know?
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it's horrific.
Right.
My father was, I'm going to say this gently, and there's really no gentle way to say this. The shadow governments act like mafia. When you're in the military, and I know this now from personal experience, if you have an NDA or you're doing something that nobody can know about, they will let you know in no uncertain terms that your family will be dead.
Yeah, special clearances.
That's right. And you live with that. That's one of the reasons my dad lost. He stayed in with this until he was old. Okay. He only had a couple of years before his death that all stopped. Okay. And it was like right up to the end of when I was in the military. He was still on base. He tried to hang around the base. He did things on the base, staying there just to watch over me. He was worried. You know?
Right.
It is horrible. So they have an agenda. People say ET have an agenda. No, they don't.
Mhm.
We do. We
Right.
anthropomorphize ETs to the max.
Mhm.
I want to
Right.
make a point here.
Right.
What my knowledge and my experience and what I've been taught, and it's extensive,
Mhm.
is these beings are our progenitors. We're related to them, and they are millions and billions, some of them, in advance of us. They
Mhm.
have evolved to the point where they have no issues with hate,
Mhm.
avarice, or ego, or any of that. They are morally superior to us. And that's saying something, a lot. So,
But like any race, there's
mhm.
good and there's bad. Correct?
Only on, no, not on the evolved ET worlds, not at all. They have evolved to that point. But there are other worlds in our universe, in
Mhm.
our galaxy, as a matter of fact, who are in the same condition we are. We're not evolved here. And they're
Okay.
like us. They don't have the ability to come here. We don't have the ability to go there, do we? They don't have the ability to come here.
Mhm.
And it stops us from being pulverized by other evil civilizations. And I'm saying that not lightly, evil, okay? Because we're
Mhm.
living in an evil world right now, okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
They can't touch us, and they would not allow it at all. When I say they're our progenitors, they're our ancestors. And they're more, like I said, they're morally so advanced, they're not going to allow anything to come and touch us. We're autonomous beings. And it is their autonomy as well that knows and provides us with a place to evolve so that we can catch up to them.
Right.
And that's all they wanted.
Right.
We're having a bad time with this particular iteration on this planet at this time. We are not doing so good. And when I
Right.
say that, I'm dead serious. We're not doing so good.
Mhm.
And that's the first message from them is wake up, use your abilities. Don't let somebody tell you you don't have them. Don't let somebody put you in so much mortal fear that you can't think straight.
Mhm.
Don't damage your bodies because it damages your abilities.
Mhm.
It's that important. Those are the first messages they've been spreading for a long time.
Mhm.
There are civilizations before us that left very serious messages that the people on this world for the last 200 or 300 years have not allowed us to know the truth about. Because we did, we wouldn't be talking like this right now. We wouldn't be having this conversation. It would be much different.
So we're going to take a minute just to back up. We have questions coming in, and guys, please just note that you're on one chat room, but there's technically 7 chat rooms here. So Roku TV does not have a chat room. We're not ignoring everybody. So what I'm going to do is come into some of the questions, and we'll just take them one at a time and then continue on if that works okay with you. Just because it's all kind of pertaining to some of the things you're talking about. So Amelia.
Yes.
There we go. Number 1.
Okay. Hello, Alan. Alan says, just so I'm clear, a contactee is someone who has made contact with extraterrestrials, right?
Yes, extraterrestrial beings have made contact with you. Yes.
Right.
And you on your consciousness can communicate with them freely because you're psychic. You just don't realize how psychic you are, and they can already communicate with you when they come to you. And your higher consciousness is already talking to them and giving them permission or not permission. You can tell them, even from your physical mind, I don't want contact with you, and they'll leave you alone. Period. They'll go away. That
Okay.
is rule number 1 with them. And yes, you do have contact. Every single person on this planet has met an ET. They know us that well. Think about how many they are and where they come from all over the universe. They have enough resources and people that they can take care of every last one of us throughout our entire existence.
Mm. Right. Okay. Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Preston.
Preston, you just come right in front of the
Hello,
camera.
yeah,
Question for Dolly: how can people overcome the fear of contact? You stole my
That's
question.
a very, very good question.
You stole it from me.
I'm going to give you the first 5 things you should do. One is that realize that your fear comes to you starting at birth, and you're being influenced. You need to think about what is influencing you and question all of it. If you're hearing things not firsthand from the horse's mouth, that can influence you into a belief system and not knowing. Fear is the absence of knowing in place. You place it with a belief. A belief doesn't know the truth of yes or no, but knowing does. So you have to question everything you see, feel, and hear. You have to ask yourself, is this true or not? That's the first thing that your brain should go to every time. Why would I be afraid of this? I don't even know what this really is. And then investigate it for yourself. Knowledge is the first tool everybody has. If you shine a light on things, which means look into it and understand it, know all that is knowable, and then proceed, you're going to be 80% ahead of the game with how fear is.
Mm-hmm.
You are in fear, stop, back up, think for yourself. Take 5 minutes, take a breath, breathe. Do not allow your body to override with emotion what you cognitively should be looking at to see what it really is. One of the things that I used to do as a child, if something wasn't right or it looked weird or it might be dangerous to me, I would test it out. That was something that I naturally came to. I had a family that taught me to do that. Teach yourself. If you don't have those tools, give them to yourself.
Mm.
The third thing you need to do is, if there is something to be afraid of, address it. Because you are a powerful being. You are your own person, and you have the right as a being to say yay, no, or go away. And you can protect yourself by saying, no, this is not going to happen, or don't go where there is fear.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, for me, I agree with you on that one, because when I was still debating what my comfort level was when they were just coming in, and I would just say, no, not tonight. No, don't feel like it. Or wait till I'm asleep. I don't care. That's when I was more comfortable, when I was realizing I wasn't being harmed.
Right.
They would just leave.
Right. Exactly. They will not bother you. If you say no, no is no. You have the right to say no. It's like, somebody who's like a medium.
Mm-hmm.
You know this, Amelia, 100%. And you also, Michelle, is that when you feel something negative coming at you, or a being or some entity is coming toward you, and you know that, no, you're powerful enough to push it out. You emit your ability to throw light out against it. It can't stay.
Redirect.
You redirect it. You tell it to go away. And with power, you tell it, and firmness, and it will. If you're on the playground and a bully's running around and he's chasing everybody, one of the things that you can do, and people don't understand this, and it's because we sometimes as children allow bullies to attack people, is to say to the bully, I promise you, I'm going to turn around and walk away from you now, because you don't need to be talking to me right now, and leave. If they chase you down, run faster. Go to somebody in authority, and hopefully your friends will, assist you. When we're adults, we have a tendency to see bullying on the streets, and we tend to run toward it. A lot of people will intervene and say, no, you can't do that. If a man is accosting a woman on the street and there are people watching, most men will, somebody will power up and go, no, get away from her. That's how your power should be working. And most bullies, I was a weird child, and I came after a few times, and all I had to do was say, don't do it. You won't like me anymore. And a lot of them stopped. I had altercations, but at least I defended myself. And that's what you do against fear. You defend yourself against your fear, is basically where you're going to go.
Okay, next is a comment, Amelia. Hello,
okay. Heather. I'm fearful when they come to me as well. It's just fear of the unknown. However, if I just relaxed, I could probably learn quite a bit from them.
Absolutely. You know what? I could give you a message here. All right. When you're being approached by an ET, turn the light on. If they're going to still come and see you and say hi, they don't care. Turn the light on. Have a flashlight if you need it. Point the flashlight at them. Say, hi, let's talk. That's what they want to hear from you. Let's talk. It puts them at ease. Right. A lot of people attack ETs when they come in the rooms. Preston's got several reports of that. One of them actually kicked an AI gray, little guy, and broke his neck. Yeah,
But they're
she
so
felt bad.
cute.
Yeah, they are. They're adorable. They would never hit you. There is
No, I think of when I see them like telepathically, I've never seen one in person.
yeah.
I think of Kazoo
Yeah.
Kazoo from Fred Flintstone, right?
Yeah.
So to me, they're all kazoos.
Yeah, they
But-
kind of are. It's kind of cute.
yeah,
Yes.
but like I said, I've never had the
Yeah. Yeah. I have
the
never heard,
contact thing.
has Preston had a report of anybody saying an
I
AI gray beat the snot out of them or stuck them or whatever. They're
That
too
sounds like they
small.
hurt 'em.
So
It's
yeah.
like hurting a puppy. Like what?
Very much so. And even the tall grays, if you look at them and watch them when they come in with you, you're going to see that they're very gentle, they're very lithe, they're very elegant when they move around. Whitley Strieber, you should hear him talk. They're beautiful, and all you just have to do is say, "Hi, how you doing?" And they will immediately begin talking to you. And your brain will do something miraculous when you do that. It will not shut down. Human beings don't realize that fear polarizes you in the hippocampus, and you will go delusional even when you're in fear and not see things as they really are. Don't do that. Welcome it. Say, "Hi, how you doing?" Then if it gets serious for you, then you start questioning, what am I really looking at? Is it really ET, or is it a MyLab, or something weirder than that? Because there are entities on this earth, like, little devils, ghouls, goblins, whatever you want to call them, who can imitate even ET, and people don't even realize that either. You have to know what's in front of you. You have to
That's
make
the big one, and
Yeah.
vice versa. Yeah.
exactly, so, but that's how you deal with it, the way you walk through it. So the next time anybody has an encounter and they're afraid, turn the light on, have the flashlight, point it at them, and just say, "Hi, how you doing? Let's talk." And it will disarm them immediately. It'll disarm you immediately. It'll drop you from erasing your own hippocampus, and you'll have the conversation. It's fun.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, thank you. Because you were speaking of like basically fight or flight with being frozen. Now we know first responders go beyond that. Are
Right.
many first responders contactees?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, because
Yes.
they would be questioning it. They wouldn't
Yes.
be running away from it.
No, not at all.
So
Not at
why
all.
the hell am I so scared? It's really weird because I have a slow motion mind where when something happens, I don't panic. Like I'm talking about medical emergencies. Like I just comes to me. Blood doesn't bother me, stuff like that. I think it's the crime scenes too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, with everything else, it's fear. Yeah.
Right. When as a psychic as well as you and Michelle, one of the things that I noticed being a nurse, okay, and I've had first responder moments out in the wild, I guess, driving around and stuff. I always carried a full complement with me so that I could aid somebody in distress before help got there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I realized that is I am so wide open psychic that I can feel you 15 minutes before you come into my zone. I know you're there. And it's unconscious. I do it unconsciously. And I've been doing it since I was a very small child. And I became aware to the point that I was looking for it, good, bad, or indifferent. It's sort of like a anxiety thing that I started becoming. I became very, very anxious over it. And it developed into my adulthood. And Mama, my ET mother, had to teach me, no, don't do that. Just, if it's coming at you and you got time to prepare and you got to decide which way you're going to go with this, just say, okay, I'm on hold until you get here. Don't think, don't just let whatever's going to happen, because it is whether you want it to or not, and then do it that way. Most first responders do that, they have to. It's in their bones. They have to.
Yeah, sometimes they do, and sometimes I find it amusing because when John, my husband, cut his eyelid in half trimming bushes, the paramedic didn't want to look at his eye. He goes, I get really heebie-jeebie about it, and I'm like, I need to see it because I need to tell his mother if her son's blind or not.
I know.
I was just one of those, but anyways,
Preston
I'm done with that one. Yeah.
Okay, Preston will do this. He'll go like this.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I can even go up and it around.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
I got no problem with it. The gore does not bother me at all. Real gore. Now, stuff on TV, horror and stuff like
That's
that,
different.
I can't do
Yeah,
it.
but that's music and words and everything. So
Yes,
yeah.
it affects me negatively. So no.
Okay. Next question.
Okay, Lou Weezy. I love that name. Dolly, is there a way to pre-program oneself not to have that automatic fear reaction so we can remain comfortable with ET?
Sure. Meditate. Intend to heal yourself in that. This is something that your brain has decided it's going to do. And the only way for that to change is for you to heal that situation. And I'll give you a hint. Human minds are habitual. We habitualize everything. You think about this. Seriously, think about this. If you like the same one thing immensely, you will eat it at the same time every day if it's food, or you'll find time to have the coffee at the same time every day. And if your habit is broken, it messes with you. And that is how we're affected. People who smoke, people who drink, whatever, those are habits that are serious habits, but we habitualize everything, including learning. So remember that it's the habit you have to break of reacting that way. You break that habit. You say, I'm not going to do this now. I'm going to stay calm. And if you meditate, that will help you go into this the secure zone in yourself. You know, create a safe space in your mind to say, no, I'm not freaking out. I'm good, and remain calm. And then you will make that a new habit, and you'll lose the old one.
Okay, perfect. Next. Just because there's lots, I want to get to them all.
Absolutely. Kathy. Hi, Kathy Henley Little. Dolly, do you think that the bad experience was the military instead of ET?
That's going back. That shows you how far back we're going with questions. So when you're talking about
absolutely, it is not ET. If you're having a bad, unless let me go back to what I said. If your perception is going to be pure fear, you alter your perception in fear. In other words, you're not seeing what's really going on. You're looking at it from the lens of fear. Okay. And so you're not going to make sense out of what you're seeing and feeling. The idea is to lose the fear, open the lens to reality, and slowly take it in. That's all I'm saying. Some people do that.
Okay. Next.
Stevie Champagne. So there is a difference between the UFOs and the military ones. Wonder how we can tell the difference.
Well, right now, that's really easy. ET are not here now. They left 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, and they will not be back until our magnetosphere has become back to what it should be. It's 40% down, and everything that the sun pops up at us comes in and affects us electromagnetically. All our field guidelines, everything is, and they can't fly here because of that. And it's too dangerous. They crash too much. They started crashing in the 40s and the 30s, and it just got worse and worse and worse till they packed up and they left, and they're waiting for that to happen.
So what do you make then of those who don't need a craft, who can just come in through light gates, stargates, portals, or what about the ones who are already here?
I want to clarify how they help you understand. A light gate is how they travel.
Yeah.
And I'm going to explain what a light gate is.
Good.
A light gate is an opening in this time. A light gate, it is a light that everything is light. They travel by light. And psychic ability is all light. Everything we are is light. You realize that your protons are light. They recently finally got to see the center of a proton, and they know that there are 3 elements in it, like a triangle, but they're like 1, 2, 3 elements, and they electromagnetically connected, and it is a light. It holds light and electricity at the same time. That's how we communicate all the way across the universe with one another. Every single proton is connected to every other single proton. So here we go. We psychically generate a light source that is so powerful, it takes an opening in space-time, okay, and area. We can coordinate, but we don't have to think about how far we go, because we also open from the other side, because we're in connection with a light gate over there at the same time. So these 2 light gates are connected to one another, this one here and this one over here, but they're positioned right here. So when we go through the light gate, we go from here all the way over there in less than half a second. A lot of people want to call that a portal. It's not really a portal. If you think about what Einstein said, how you have to bend time together. the gravity of time, and bring the two together. That's what light gating is. And light gate in space, you can, or in the midair. But if you light gate on the ground, you're going to kill people. It's not safe. It's not a safe environment for you to light gate. They light gate underwater because there's nothing there to impede them or get in the way or cause electricity to shoot and knock out half a city when they do it. So they do that.
But we also know that there are some that are already here, or some of them can be here with just a mere thought. They're not bringing in crafts, they're coming in independently, right?
Right. They come in not physical at that point. They're able to, what's the word I want to use? Preston uses it every now and then. He believes that it's transmutation, that they can transmutate themselves here. And I was not taught that that's viable. What they can do is bring their essence, their higher self here, like remote viewing. Like when I remote view, I go off. People see me as a blue orb. I've had people take pictures of me. It's lots of fun. And I didn't know I was doing it until somebody told me, did you know you're doing this? Because they know I'm remote viewing there. And they had me talking to him on speakerphones while I was remote viewing. And he said, where are you in the house? And I said, I'm right in front of your fireplace. And he went click, click, click. And he got me. I'm a blue orb. Showed it to me. Oh, wow. But I've also had people say that they actually physically see me standing there. And that has happened to me like 4 or 5 times. I didn't mean to do it, but I did it somehow. And I think that's what you're seeing. They're remoting to where you're at, and they can communicate with you like they're here, and they can actually move objects. I mean, I can stomp things and make noises and do all kinds of stuff. And I think that's what you're seeing. And they're just coming in that way. It's pretty cool.
So if people are having contact right now by what they
remote
to be an ET of sorts, you're saying no, they're not here.
No physical contact whatsoever. They cannot be here at all. Not at all.
Really?
It's too dangerous.
So then are you implying that it's military?
Yes, ma'am. Back engineered all over.
Am I allowed to say that? It's too late. Yeah, I just looked at Michelle like, was I
I like the word back engineered. It leaves a loophole. Yeah, back engineered. It is back engineered from all over the world. Yes.
And what does back engineering mean?
It means that they have taken technology from down to ET craft and created something similar, facsimile, that they can fool you with.
Yeah.
You think it's them.
Like the triangular ones.
Okay. Next. Bam.
And then when we're done, I don't know if we'll ever end. I do have a question before you leave at the end of the show. It can come in at any time. GGK, welcome. Second question for Safran. If evil is an aberration, wouldn't the obvious answer be to temporarily remove an affected planet from the reincarnation system until it's cured?
Nobody has the right to do that. Nobody.
Yeah.
Morally evolved beings know that our autonomy means 100% we are free to do as we please. And we're all together on this planet, and we all hear each other on this planet. We are whole connected in ways you can't even imagine. If I think of something really, really hard, somebody in France is going to hear it, okay? Or repeat it. It is that's how connected we are. Evil is talking to everybody on this planet every single day. Remove that. The only way you're going to do that is by positively not being evil in return. Return evil with love, period. That's it. You know? And if there are more of us than the evil, then we actually start evolving together and becoming wise. So
kill people with kindness on X instead of being so nasty, because that's got to be like the worst place.
Yes.
Okay. Amelia, you had a question before we move on to the next.
Yes. Without mentioning this person's name, because I can't and we can't. I prefer that none of us say his name.
Correct. Okay.
Should this person move forward with blocking the sun, would that interfere with ET?
No, it wouldn't interfere with ET. It would interfere with us. It would cause huge, massive problems. The physics of that is insane. Don't even.
I know. I just didn't want to mention names because I don't want to get tagged.
Right. It's okay.
Okay.
I was curious. Yes. Thank you, Michelle. Mountain Dan, question. Have any of you seen someone strange in public or not and said definitely an alien? I have.
I'm strange. Like that. No,
No, she gets
Okay.
stirred up because she's so beautiful in public.
definitely strange.
I've walked with her. She does get looked at, but it's because she's really pretty.
Yes.
That only happened once, and I told Michelle it was a second glance, and I swear to all that's holy that it was Nordic, like white, like it was there and then it wasn't.
Yeah, when I'm walking around in public, especially when I was younger, people would just go and look at me, especially when I had red hair. I had people nearly killing themselves on the streets trying to get at me. It drove me insane. And it's because I looked like Red Sonja when I was younger. And it put me in a place I did not want to be. And we are people who are obsessed with what we look like. Think about that. And fatal beauty is what I like to call it. If you're a fatal beauty, that means you're going to get picked out because of the obsession. And it's sad to me because we are all beautiful and we should see that, Your psychic ability lets you see that before you see the skin, It's transient. Beauty is transient. I don't look the same as I did when I was young now, okay? But I'm still me. And it would have been really great when I was young if you didn't see the outside and you saw the insides first. We should all worry about that.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
Preston.
Preston has a comment here, Dolly.
Okay.
Does
Go
Dolly
ahead.
read it or do I read it?
Oh.
Go ahead, Amelia. Do you want to read it out for the rest
Sure,
of the crowd?
I
or
will.
what?
Dolly, Preston writes, Dolly and I did see that weird Rastafarian guy pushing a subway cart on a highway in the middle of the desert, not a normal guy. There's a
No.
highway in the middle of the desert?
No, he was a hybrid, big time, over the top hybrid. And I wanted to stop. Okay. I'm like, stop. We were about to run out of gas and we had 40 miles to go and he refused. I'm not turning around. Not, And I was like,
Is that fear I sense, Preston?
No, we did not want to run out of gas in the desert in 102-degree weather. No.
Right.
No.
All right.
No.
Next.
Okay.
Yeah, always check your tank before you drive through the desert. Farmer, hello. Has there ever been a comparable instance in human history where the trajectory of humanity itself takes a bigger, more publicized left turn than right now?
Going left a lot. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's a double-edged question, and I'll tell you why. This is a 12,000-year iteration that we're living in. And the iteration before that, the 12,000 years before that, did meet the same turn of events that we're experiencing now. Do we know what they did? No. We just have messages left behind from them trying to steer us in the right direction. And that's what's not being transmitted to humanity right now, because we have evil people who are not telling the truth, who are not letting you know, who have kept you in the dark, who have uneducated you. No kidding. And it's sad. And they've used fear, division. They've used slavery techniques where they run your life, whether you like it or not, and threaten you when you don't do what they want you to do.
Right.
We're too busy being against one another to see that we have messages from the past and we're not paying attention.
It seems more problematic now than
Much so
5
because
6 years ago without saying anything.
Yeah, I'm going to use big words for a second. Thesis and antithesis. Everybody who's college educated, I hope, has had this lesson. It's a big pendulum, and one side of the pendulum is thesis. That's thinking, calm, organized, knowing.
Yeah.
The other side is antithesis, which is the same thing as anarchy. Our pendulum is now dead up in anarchy. And I don't know what's going to take for it to come back. We have too many irons in the fire, too many things going wrong, too many people not knowing anything and wholly against one another. And we have to wade through that, you know?
Yeah.
Our next.
Okay. Anna Corte, nice to see you. Was Dolly saying that there is no negatively polarized ETs making contact, or am I misunderstanding? Thank you. Well, thank you for the question.
ETs are not negative people. They don't do negative things. They are running around the universe, becoming those that are still in the third dimension. There are ETs that are dimensions above us, who are learning everything they can. They want to evolve. and they are evolving. And as evolved as they are from us, they still have further to go. There's no end to how you evolve and what you know and understand and how you gain wisdom. It's experience that you gain wisdom from and knowledge. No, they are not polarizing. They do not do things to us to impede us, stop us, whatever. They've given warnings, they've given help where they can, and they have been there as much as possible without interjecting themselves into our societies. It's bad enough that they've had crashes and we've taken technology from them. That doesn't sit well with them at all. And it was a decision this time, because we're so messed up, to just live with it, because it was more important to come to us in a positive way than a negative way. And I'll give you some for instances. They've shown themselves to millions and billions of people throughout our history. They have helped when they could. They have displayed before children, before schools, before colleges, before national games. They've come and shown themselves completely. What the governments have done have suppressed that knowledge to you. They have not told you the truth. They've kept you afraid of any contact with them whatsoever. They made it almost impossible to talk about being in contact with ET, even when I was young. And this is, I'm a 50s baby, okay? You didn't talk about it. You were restrained from expressing the truth of what it was. They have tried everything they can to get their messages through. And a lot of people have been talking, but they've been discounted and not heard. It is sad to me. No, they are not polarizing negative. Never. Not at all. We are. We're the ones with the problem. You individually are confused about it because you have been polarized by people who don't want you to know the truth. That's serious.
Next.
Oh, yeah. Audrey Miller. Audrey, thank you. Question: when ETs abduct someone in their astral body, why do they need a ship?
They don't. That's misinformation. That is not true. They do not abduct you astrally. You're autonomous. You don't have to go anywhere you don't want to go to, and especially when you're out of body. You're your own person, period. Nobody can take you. Nobody can indwell your body. Your DNA belongs to you. It's the key to your astral mind and self, your entity life. People who are psychic enough to hear somebody else talking, and I guess you can call that channeling, can hear them. When somebody, what's the word I want to look for? People are, it's the Catholic thing where they exorcise you when they need an exorcist because they think you're indwelt by a devil. Your mind is indwelt, not your body, not your heart. They can't touch your heart. They can touch your mind. Your physical mind, your psychic ability in your mind makes you a target for them because you can hear them and they will stand on you psychically until you start breaking. That's not good. And that's why exorcism, or the idea of helping you gain enough strength to get this thing the heck out of you, is out of your mind, is important. No, you are not abducted astrally, ever. That is my lab thinking. That's stinking thinking. Your misinformation, not true.
Is that like implanted memory?
Ma'am, say again?
Is that like to say an implanted memory?
They don't do that either.
They don't.
No, not at all. They don't implant memories on you.
They don't implant memories. They don't put chips.
ETs? Hell no. Sorry.
No, not ETs. I'm talking about
my lab. Yeah, people have been experimented on from the beginning. Yeah, they can torture you into a memory you didn't have.
That's what I was referring to. Sorry, I should have started with that.
Basically, right.
Pardon?
Screen memories.
Yeah, I didn't know the correct word.
See, this is probably where you would have quite a few abductees or contactees disagree if you can't remember. What would cause you not to remember with ET?
Yeah, you know what? This is hard, and it's hard to face. When I meet and greet that, I have to leave it alone. And I'll give you, for instance, the number one that happened to me when I came out. I met a lady that I actually knew in my childhood from when I was on Homestead Air Force Base. And it was at Ultra, and they were looking for us, psychic kids, and they were trying to find out if we could remote view. And I met her there. She was a little girl like me, same age almost. And my father came and got me out of there. Okay. She did not. She spent her entire life in that horror. And she knows full well what happened to her.
Mhm.
and she's so confused about it. She is, it's like a warrior coming home from the worst battle in the world, and they've got the worst case of PTSD you've ever
Yeah,
seen.
shell shock. Yeah.
Mm.
And she is incapable of understanding the difference between the two things.
Mm.
Benevolent ETs who are were their children and thinking that they're here to kill us.
So what do you do then? You
So
have people who have had contactee or
I
abductee
let go.
experiences,
I let
and you've had people who have gone
go.
through regressions, who have
Right,
seen ET, who have been
right.
regressed. They've seen ET, and they had to go through regression to recall anything. So is that being discounted, or you know?
Well, see, I don't know all the parameters of every single person who's ever done that because there are a lot of questions you have to ask each one individually. It's an individual thing because we're all individuals. One of
Mhm.
them is it's not all hypnotists or regressors have ethical training in that you don't lead somebody to a memory, you let them evolve their own memory out to you.
Mhm.
When you hypnotize somebody, the first thing you have to do is make sure that they understand that they are safe. They're in an environment where nothing can touch them. That just remembering the experience is not going to hurt them again. They are safe. And
Mhm.
once you regress them to that point and they're completely comfortable with it, then you don't even suggest anything to them. You say, "Tell me what you want to tell me. What is it that you remember?" The brain will turn on for that every time. And then they give their memories. And you say, "Okay." And you record it and then you play it back for them if they're not going to remember it. Some people don't want to remember and just want to hear the recording. And you work with them. And most hypnotists will know at the end of a session whether this person needs help or whether this person has a memory that needs to be worked on because we have a bunch of things going on. When you're hypnotized, you're not just reaching the physical mind, you're reaching the self, the higher self at the
Mhm.
same time. And it knows everything about you. And it
Mhm.
will speak through your physical mind to tell the story and fill in the gaps.
Mhm.
That's where being psychic is so important because if you're already connected to that, the astral mind with the physical mind, you're going to remember everything. But we're
Mhm.
not. Our higher consciousness can't talk to our physical mind if it's not working right in there.
Mhm.
And so hypnotists who are really going to regress people for this need to be trained in this methodology, and not all of them have done it. I've listened to his sessions where the hypnotists themselves have walked them into memories that they really didn't have and said things to them to goad them to say things back. Because
Mhm.
when we're hypnotized and relaxed, we're good storytellers. Humans will pareidolia anything, okay?
Mhm.
Because they want to give you something. The physical mind always wants to have something going on, and it will tell the story that doesn't exist because they heard you ask for it.
Mhm. For
You have
sure.
to be very careful, very, very careful. This
Mhm.
is another ethical issue that people don't realize they're getting into. So I would
Mhm.
tell you, if you're going to be regressed, you need to find a hypnotist that has those ethical standards and you talk about them comfortably up front. And if they say one thing you don't agree with walking through your head, don't go to them
Well, I
because
mean, you have to have people who specialize in
right,
contact. And I
exactly,
know people who specialize in working with specifically
right,
abductees, contactees,
right,
experiencers. So
right,
they're not leading. They pretty much have an idea of
yeah,
what the process is
right,
from probably multiple clients and so on. I do agree with you. It's very helpful to have somebody who's
yeah,
trained in that. I just really want to mention again, we are getting to all of the questions.
yeah,
They are in order, guys. We have, like I said, 7 different chat rooms. We're not going to forget. We're not going to leave you out. As you can see, we're just addressing questions right now. It's become more of an open mic Q&A, which is good. And Dolly's being gracious. So we will be getting to everybody. So please just hang tight. Okay, next question.
Okay, Frank G, hello and welcome. Question for Dolly. Do you have information about crop circles? They are still appearing.
yeah. Um, this is an interesting question. When was I would have to know when the last one was. If it was more, less, okay. If it's more than, if it's like from right now back 2 years, nope. Uh-uh. Those, I wonder how they got created. Every single crop circle that's real ET is got a mathematical equation in it that it cannot be denied. And they sign them that way. And this is information you're not given. scientists around the world, physicists, all of them look for that in the crop circle. It gives them a great big heads up. This is the real deal. They don't create them by stomping the ground. They create a pulse, an energy pulse. And it's like, if you know anything about laser shows, you know that this program is already created in a computer or a system where all the images are already computerized and put in there. And then they let the lasers go and it creates the images up in the sky. Well, the energy that they use for that is all light energy. Well, they have superior light energy technology, and they can create the circle before they put it down, and they will get about 6 feet above it, and then they'll pulse it, and it puts it down so many feet. That's why a real crop circle is the stalks are halfway up and only halfway down. It doesn't go all the way to the ground. If go ahead.
I just looked it up for you because you said you'd need to know. August 8th of this year was the last one, and it's near Etchelhampton, Wiltshire, UK. The crop was wheat, and it's approximately 80 meters. You can find it online, but it says to respect thee. No public access granted. Please respect farmers' wishes so that they don't show up at his place. But they have shared the picture, and before that was July 28th, all in the UK.
Yeah, I know that bothers me because we have crop circles as well, but you don't know about them.
July 23rd. Like, this is all in the last few months.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is false flag stuff. I would love to see those.
I'll send you the link because some of them are, like you said, they're not all the way down. So it's interesting.
Okay. Next. Okay.
Yes.
Here we go, J-Tat. Here's that question.
Hello. Dolly, what if you've had countless UFO craft sightings, but none of any ET beings that you know of? Can you start it, or is this best left to play out on its own accord? So does he initiate or try to initiate contact, or does he just sit back and
the CE5 revelation is initiated fifth CE5 means contact at the 5th level, and that's where you have a sighting or you have a craft come down for you and interact with you or send you messages, and it's initiated contact. That's the 5th level, and I would not do it.
No. I mean, you can do it just telepathically.
Yeah, you can.
You do it on your own.
Right.
I mean, Russian scientists have been doing this since like the 80s. They always claim they never had to go looking for them. All they had to do is call them.
Right. They've been doing it actually since the 60s. They've known this.
Yeah. But I mean, they've been actively doing it, as per research that I found, like actively at a specific Air Force base of their own, where they were just interacting a lot more by just calling them. So this isn't a new thing. It's probably just a new thing because people are now more aware of what's going on in the whole field of ufology.
Pretty much put that on the map, literally.
Pretty much. But I mean, telepathically, most contactees or experiencers can
call them down. Right.
You can have that link. Would that be right?
Yes.
Right. So, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, next question.
Okay, TGK, question number 3. Since you stated there are Dyson shells, are there also deep space stations and satellites?
Dyson spheres. And,
sorry.
It's okay. The ones that we theorize on Earth are not exactly how they are. These Dyson spheres do not have to encircle a star to have energy or operate. They have an energy that is outside of that can operate the entire sphere. They are leveled. They have multiple things going on inside of them. They have gravity because of mass, and they park in solar systems that have no life in it, but they find the sweet spot and they plant themselves there. And there are 2 that I know of in our universe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next. Here we go.
I can't call Dolly because if I do, we'll be on the phone for 3 days because I have 100 million questions. Farmer, what of the gifting narrative in terms of craft?
What are the gifting narratives in terms of craft? Okay. I'm going to tap you for a minute because I need to understand what you're thinking. Your abilities are your own. And when you have contact with ET, sometimes that helps. It's like a baby learning to walk. They see their parents walking around and they're going to try. It's natural, instinctive for you to want to walk. especially if you're seeing other people walk. It's also instinctive for you to want to learn how to communicate. It's also instinctive for you to learn to eat because you already know how to eat when you're born. When you have contact with ETs, you're coming in contact with beings who are superiorly using their abilities, and they sort of help you ignite the want and the desire to do that. And when you open that channel in your head, it will keep flowing if you keep using it. So the gifts are yours, not theirs. They're not bestowing them upon you. They are exposing you to your own abilities.
Okay, next.
Okay, as is, love it. How do ET feel about having regression to remember events when they chose to block these memories in the first place?
Okay, fear. Let's talk about fear. I'm going to go back and use that word hippocampus again. Your hippocampus is your switch box that goes from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. And fear messes with short-term memory. It'll black you out in seconds. If you're so afraid that you black out, you're not going to remember why you blacked out without help. That's serious. You're not choosing to black out. Your fear chose it for you. So you got to understand that fear is actually capable of doing this to you. Sometimes ET, knowing that you're in that much fear, will work with you a little bit before you go home so that they give you things that will knock you up, wake you up. They give you triggers, memory triggers, because they can read your mind and they know what you're thinking. And so they'll say, if you see this, it's a suggestive, a hypnotic suggestion to your hippocampus to remember if you see this, and then poof, you will. And some people are triggered that way if they're listening to them. Sometimes fear will make you just not want to hear what they have to say. We can block communication easily between us and them. So, but that's what's happening. It's your hippocampus. They're not stopping you from remembering everything. They would love for you to remember everything, especially without fear, because then you know you were safe with them. Then you would know that you're having a good time on board because they'll give you the keys to the kingdom. You know, there's a rod. It's like a wand. Okay. And it's a cylinder. It's about this big and it's about this big round. And if you hold that, the ship can talk to you. You can meld with it. You can become part of its existence and feel it in a way that you wouldn't not holding it. And they'll put you in the seat, and sometimes they'll even let you drive. You know, they will show you everything. They will tell you anything you want to know. They'll even give you snacks. You know, most people
Pizza.
I don't know if they have that. Yeah, they have snacks.
All right. Next.
Pizza's a snack. Audrey Miller, question. Let me rephrase the question. If you are in your astral body on an ET ship, why is the ship needed?
You're not in your astral body on the ship. They do not take your soul up there with them without your body. They bring you physically up. That is misinformation. You do not go in soul.
Don't go through roofs or ceilings or.
Well, yes, you do, but that's not.
Okay, now the fear.
No. They bring you up when they shine the light down on you. If you see a blue white light hit you, that means you're going up.
Oh, holy fourth kind. Yeah.
Interdimensional ribbon that when you touch it, you become into the field of the ribbon. You become interdimensional. You lose your physicality for a few minutes. You're walking through a light gate.
Wow.
Okay? And it is a light gate that brings you up. You're completely going from this point to that point, and you feel the journey. You're not going in your astral body. You're going in your physical body.
Okay, next.
Farmer, how do the investigators feel about a UAP situational handbook, like the AP standards on reporting, a sort of cliff notes, if you will?
I have no clue. You might ask Preston that question. Maybe you can answer it. I'm going to tell you, nope, I don't know the answer to that. I don't pay attention to those guys. I stay as far away from them as I can get. Preston might have something to say about that.
Right. Okay. Next. Next question is going to be, okay, let's get rid of this one. Not that one. Hold on. I got to get back over here. Okay, here's the next question. There we go.
Okay, Phila, hi. Question: where the dog-headed ET are from, and are they dangerous or just stern?
I guess
Never
you're
heard of
thinking
that.
about Anubis.
Yes, yes, exactly. Anubis. Um, in Egypt, Egypt
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Mediterranean. Okay, Anubis is an ET that is just like Osiris and Ra. You know, they are different related cousins of ETs who all came to Egypt together to teach them about things that they needed to know. Um, it is very complicated in what we don't know because you're not told about what they were educated with and how they helped them survive very hard times where they were, because Egypt used to be very verdant and had water everywhere. It was very tropical even in those times. And now it's not. You don't see Egypt now as it was then. And they helped them, they helped their civilization evolve. So yeah, they are ETs that came here together to teach.
Okay, so would that be the typical dogman sightings that we see now, or are we talking a whole different race altogether again?
I am not sure what people are seeing because I know Anubis
Right.
people, okay, and they do come here. And when you're in fear, you can jack things up and make them, grander than they really are. Okay,
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and
there's some pretty aggressive dogmen out there sightings.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was going to eat me. Fear will make you think bad. Yeah, teeth. Yeah,
But
It
they
is.
look like two different beings,
They
technically
do.
speaking.
That's what
Yeah, they
amazes.
really are
That's what I'm saying. Are
different.
we dealing
I
with
don't
African
understand why
oranges
they
in
did
the
that.
dogman world, or
I don't know. I think it's just misinformation, gossip, passed around until it became something that it's not. So,
got it.
Because
All right.
dogman looks like a dog on hind legs. It doesn't have a chest like,
it looks like a wolf standing up. That's right.
yes, it doesn't look like Egyptian.
Typical, no.
No. And as Bach said, thank you, Dolly. So a follow-up question regarding your sharing. There are no negative ETs. Is that your opinion? Then that there is no evil beyond planet Earth?
Okay, I'm going to spell it out exactly. In our solar system, in our galaxy, in our universe, there are billions and billions of planets that are viable and have life. Not all of them are operating on the same evolutionary timeline in the third dimension. There are some planets like ours where we're stinking thinking, okay? And I have to watch a military. I can swear better than anybody in it, so I have to guard myself. We stink and think here, okay? We're dumb. We're not evolved at all. We have a lot to learn and a way, way far way to go. And there are plenty of planets, even in our galaxy, that are like that. Do we have the ability to go anywhere? Can we go anywhere and survive? No, we do not, and neither can they. Technology does not mean evolutionary anything. For you to have the ability to go from this planet in this part of the universe to that planet, you have to have come up enough to have light technology. We're just beginning to understand that there is such a thing. They do not understand it here, and they're not going to, and not in this generation away. They're playing at it. Let's put it that way. So whatever ETs are coming here from the third dimension are not evil, not at all. They have evolved to make the trip. Anything smart enough to make that trip, trust me, they're not going to eat you, threaten you, take your resources. And I want to make some point here. There are resources all over this universe. If they can travel from here to Alpha Centauri to, clean
Grab an
across,
asteroid.
right? They got plenty of resources. They don't need us. That's our ego talking. That's us thinking we're the center of the universe and that we own everything. No, we do not. Okay, so don't go there. It is not an evil being coming here to see you. If they got here, they're not evil. Trust me. Yes,
so reptilians. So mantis.
reptilians
are like
they have been here since the time of the dinosaur. They are sentient beings and they belong to us. And the government's found them. And let's just not go further than that. They have done no.
All right. So we're
Okay.
gonna
Get
go
off mic.
There we go.
Rich Verdi, why? Okay, I can't See those.
why the frick are the Greys torturing me?
Okay.
My experience with them hasn't been any nice since their arrival back in 2016, and I see their ships every time. I bet if I go out, I'd see them right now.
Take a picture.
Yeah. I want you to do me a favor. Whatever your name is, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Messenger, and you can messenger without being my friend. Talk to me. Let's talk. Let's walk you through it. Let's find out who's doing this to you. Okay? Let's let you make
We're
that
all
decision.
going to get wiped out now. We're all going to get blacked out. Seriously.
And this is another part to his question.
Yeah.
Instead
I'm
of
glad
a
that you're
comment, a
doing
question,
that.
so, yeah.
I do that. Actually, I do that for a lot of people. You just don't realize it. People can contact me all the time. I've given the opportunity to everybody. And if you contact me, I will talk back to you. I do every time.
I think it's wonderful that you do that and very kind. Rachel says, in a universe full of intellectually superior alien races, who wants to live forever as a human in the afterlife? Oh, I think you should contact Dolly.
Yeah. We this is a classroom you're in. The way the universe is structured, you come here to learn, you come here to evolve. In Source, you have all the knowledge of everything.
But people believe this is a prison planet too.
I know, and it's sad because if you're that far down in your emotional quotient or your your inability to learn the truth, then yeah, you're going to think of it as a prison. Besides, the people here want you to be a slave to them, and yeah, that would be kind of a prison. I feel badly for you about that you feel that way. You come here to learn. You have rights. You are a person. You're autonomous. You can learn anything you want. You can go anywhere you want. You have to know that in your heart. You have to get off the slave train and the prison train and evolve into who you are. Heal yourself. Move through.
Easier said than done if you're coming, like speaking.
I know, well, that's the
Playing
problem.
devil's advocate, you're looking at conditioning. You're looking at struggles, at having to work constantly. A lot of people don't necessarily have the knowledge or the time to meditate, to trying to evolve themselves. You just sort of try to trudge through life.
One thing at a time, 1 minute at a time.
Right?
Yeah. That's all you can only, it is what it is. Okay. You're here for a reason. You picked this time to be here. Get into that with yourself, find out what it is that you need to be doing for you. Quit worrying about it. Turn the TV off. Quit listening to all the negativity. Don't worry about who's going to be president right now, because right now it's probably already decided.
I was just going to say, you really don't have a say in it, even though you think you do.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life. Be happy. Find joy.
There's so much to let go of what you can't change and accept what you, let go of what you can't change and accept. Is that what I can't even remember? Star Orchid. Nice name. I'm loving these names. On the subject of Anubis ET group, did they visit contactees here on Earth, or did another group use their physical representation? That's a good question.
They're real beings. They have their own physicality, and if you see one, you're seeing the real deal.
Okay. I guess this is question 4. Okay.
Okay, DGK. Before approaching a fauna or flora specimen, you are informed beforehand whether it's a carnivore, correct?
Okay, flora or fauna. Well, flora is plants, and fauna is the genus of all the plants. Yes, if a plant's poisonous, I am taught not to touch it. I have been places where I've been warned, don't touch that plant, it will hurt you. Mm-hmm. I've learned that here. I grew up in the Everglades, and trust me, there's plenty out there that'll get you. Oof. And we learn young. We're taught in elementary school, don't do that. Poison ivy is bad. I identified poison oak is bad. There's other things. There's poisonous everywhere. There are poisonous animals in the Everglades. So yeah, we're taught. All of us are.
Poisonous baby octopus too.
Yes.
And they're the cutest thing you've ever seen. But if they sting you, you actually die instantly.
Oh, I know.
I've seen them. I watch a lot of National Geographic.
Okay, we have to take a station and sponsor ID, please.
Yes, we do. And I can no longer say that this is just a regular show. Anyways, let me go ahead here. Thank you, Michelle. You are listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano, coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans on 107.7 FM radio, as well as on the Gulf Coast on 105.3 FM radio. We are live on the Roku channel. We're archived there as well. And new, not that new, but we're going to continue saying that because for those of you who are just tuning in and just learning about us, Alexa Prime. You can find United Public Radio on Alexa Prime now. Our special guest tonight is a dear friend and host of this network, is Dolly Safran. And we started off with Dolly talking a little bit about her story, and it became question and answer like it often does with her, because she's so generous with her time and she's such a loving person. And she's mentioned that she is also available to you if you need to speak with her via Messenger. You don't have to be friends on Facebook. I think that is freaking amazing. If you're just tuning in, no worries. You can stream our archives on any platform you normally use. Search United Public Radio and then The Outer Realm to find us. Remember to click like and subscribe. Add us to your playlist so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to share us. Now, for the gratitude moment, a huge thank you to Folgers Coffee. Thank you for your continued support in sponsoring our show from day one, and we hope forever and ever. We love you. Thank you so much. Also, a big thank you for all of our promo media and banner, courtesy of Steve McGinnis, who is a horror illustrator, but he also does commissioned pieces. He can be found on Facebook. Thank you so much, Steve. We just, as you can tell, we love it. We have it everywhere. Our intro is courtesy and our outro of Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, also known as Justin Snicker, award-winning composer, vocalist, and musician. You can find his music on Amazon and Bandcamp. Stream on any platform. Find Dr. Snick on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Steve. Lastly, you are watching that screen on YouTube, you are watching on Facebook, on one of our group pages, especially the Outer Realm page. Please hit like, smash it, smash it, smash it. Subscribe and share with your friends and family. It's free. And this way you can get notifications if you choose to, so you don't miss any shows. Thank you.
And we're back.
Damn Cowlick. Damn Cowlick.
Okay, so we're gonna keep going.
Okay, cool. Fun Talks TV. I'm loving all these handles. Dolly, can you tell us more about the first and second dimension? Is it true that less pleasant beings come from there, and can certain humans derive from there? That's a loaded question.
I have seen shadow people.
Yeah.
And I've been educated that they are pretty much coming in from the second dimension. The first dimension is just a platform. It's like a foundation of energy, and it doesn't really have anything in it at all, except the foundation of all of this. And the second dimension, I think that there are people, this is my opinion from what I've studied and what I've learned from this, is that if you choose to be destructive to yourself, you might end up in the second dimension and de-evolve slightly. That's a thing. And the shadow person that I've had contact with in many years of this one shadow has tried to communicate with me. They can't really speak in words to you. They can do hand gestures. They can point to things. They can try to send you messages. It's really hard to understand them sometimes. But this person was very bereft and angry. And I mean angry to the point that it shook me sometimes how angry this entity was. And it let me know in certain terms that it was like me, it was human at one point. And my only question to it was, why don't you get up? Why don't you accept the fact that this is something you have to let go of? I mean, I tried very hard for years and years and years. It's given me the finger.
Oh my. It did have a lifetime on Earth.
Every excuse why it had a right to be angry. And I've seen this on Earth. I've seen people so angry that it just protrudes out of their mouth no matter what they do. And it's frightening to watch, they're not good. And And I asked it, do you want to evolve? Do you want to come back? And it would just stare at me. And I said, I can't keep in contact with you for much longer because I'm on a journey and I'm having to let go of a lot of things. And your problem is not mine, it's yours. And I'm giving you information to try to help you. And I might have to let you go soon. And then I finally did. In about 2019, I finally did let go. And I haven't seen him since. And I feel bad for it. I think about it a lot. I took a picture of him one day. I actually went out. It was in dusk had fallen, okay? And he was standing in front of a car in a garbage can. And I clearly saw him. And I click, and started taking pictures, hoping I got him. I did. I got a picture of him. And I ran outside, and I'm looking at my phone, and then I see the finger again in the picture.
I love it.
You're just rubbing him the wrong way.
That's going to be me in the next lifetime.
I see it. I got right up to it, and it went. It disappeared. And I thought, well, have it your way then, And I walked back into the house, and that was the end of that.
Hi, Kathy Henley Little. Is the myth of the Anunnaki based on real events that happened to evolve our species?
No. I'm going to bring up a very serious thing. This is not misinformation I'm giving you. I'm giving you hard information that you can look up and research on your own. Humanity is bred. We breed with one another. We have relations with one another. We make babies. Our hormones, our pheromones, everything attract us to different people for reasons. We are making ourselves better or worse in breeding with one another. ETs do the same bloody thing. We're related to them. We can breed back and forth with them. They are not genetically taking stuff from us and making things that they have no right to make. We're talking about autonomy here. Nobody has the right to take things from you. Now, if they take samples from you, it's to biologically check on you and make sure you're okay. They can take sperm from a man to make sure his sperm counts are right, if he's sterile or not. They can take ovum from a woman to make sure that her ovum are happy and there's no genetic flux in them and that they're healthy. They can take, they don't really like to take fluid out of your body, fluid, like blood or anything like that. That's not their thing. They don't need to because they can scan you for that. Okay, they have light technology that can read every system in your body, no problem. But people misconstrued it, and the misinformation went wild. And
let's talk hybridization. Isn't that essentially what Kathy's asking?
Yeah, we do not hybridize. We make back and forth with them. We do make babies with them. They have reasons. One of them was they were worried about us killing each other to the point that we were all gone, and they were taking our DNA back to them so that they had us with them when they left because we would be no more. When I have a child, I want my child's generations to go forward, correct? So they were breeding with us so that our children would be going forward with them in time after we self-destructed. That's what they were doing, literally. We have children on this earth. I am one of them who are hybridized. I have some of their DNA that assists me in the path that I'm here now, because I am a little bit more able, because of ability, genetic ability, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like, you breed two bulls together and you're trying to make a better bull, right? I have genetics from them that were bred through my mom and dad that make me a better psychic, make me a better person, a more knowledgeable and more able to understand and compute what's going on in the world here. That's all it is. It's animal husbandry, literally. We did it with each other. Like people are talking let's not go there, but people marry up. They don't marry down. When you marry up, that means you want to make babies who are capable of being in a position, right? You don't want to make babies who are going to turn into criminals and all kinds of stuff. We breed traits, and that's what's happening. It's very simple. It's not.
There's a lot of people out there. See, this is where you're going to have people disagree with you, because there have been people who've had many hybridization programs. They've been taken. There've been documentaries done on it. People have been interviewed. People have very vivid memories of,
and that's
being
where
in contact with ET, seeing their children.
Is in on it. That's what I'm saying. I have
Well,
memories
you
too.
and I have had conversations, so
Yes,
where do you want to lump it in?
I have 4 babies that are not here.
Right.
My last one was when I was 58 years old.
Right.
Not hundreds, just 4.
Right.
I knew about every single one of them but one, and it was kind of a surprise. It was a last minute thing, and they knew I'd agree to it anyway. I
Right.
already had that open, out there, and so one of them I didn't know until I knew. And I have 2 boys and 2 girls.
Mhm.
They're my children. They are genetically traded from me, traded in that 2 of them, one of them is a very medical healer doing that sort of thing.
Right.
Another one is an engineer.
Mhm.
That comes from my genetics. And I have 2 girls that are too young right now to have decided what they're going to do. They're still growing up. And I allowed that to happen. There was no way I didn't know it was happening. I gave 100% full permission. I'm an autonomous being. It goes back to that. ET does not take from us without permission. And they don't take, they ask. And that's the point.
I'm
And
not
if-
saying that it's all against their will. I'm saying that it's a thing.
Yeah, I know. And I really feel bad about this, that people feel this way. And it's the only way to understand what's going on is for them to fully 100% understand it. And that's a journey they have to take. And that's what I tell them. It's like, you really need to research yourself for this.
Mhm.
You need to research everything. You need proof for yourself. Prove to yourself this is real and
How
who
do
did it.
How do you know if you have that DNA?
I was genetically tested 5 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the last 2 were medical, and they pulled traits. Preston's seen all of it, and I got a phone call one day and said, "We need to talk." Because
No, I don't mean just you. I mean like people in
yeah.
general. What if they don't have genetic testing? Like, how would they know to do that?
Well, there's plenty out there. You can call Ancestry, you call 23andMe, you can call
Ooh,
Genomically.
ancestries. We're not going to use that word today.
Okay, sorry. Oh,
It's okay. Yeah,
Okay,
it's okay.
okay. There's a lot of companies out there that do this. Go to them. I went to one first and it didn't pull enough of it out, so I went to the second one. I downloaded my DNA into that one, and it really pulled stuff out. And then I realized there was some medical stuff we needed to address because we were trying to prove whether I was all my mother or not, and we did that, and we found out that I have 8 genetic strains in me, lines that don't belong to her or my dad. That was smart hybridization right there. My family has been followed forever, and I have proof
Yeah.
that I am followed and what my family lines are all the way down to the beginning here.
Mm.
And that's serious stuff. We all are brothers and sisters. We all have to remember that. We are all here genetically. We're all the same.
Mhm.
Our lines are very intertwined with one another. And our abilities, our traits are superior because we're all superior. We're all together. If anybody tells you that you have genetic traits that are invaluable, you tell them to go sit on a log somewhere. It's ridiculous. All humans have DNA. All our DNA is related, and it's really pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
I'm
there's
just
a way
curious.
to prove it technically, you can prove technically your DNA is and where it comes from.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
you can find that's proof.
I was just curious for people who might be thinking that and afraid to ask in the chat room because see your handle and everything. But if you feel that's a place to start. So I never asked you that before, and I always wish that I had. So I'm glad that we got to it tonight because I think you're going to be helping a lot of people with that too, listening. Moonfire, hello all. Hello, Moonfire. I have a question. How do I tell the difference between the real alien craft and human reverse engineered ones?
Well, if they were here, ET craft have no rivets in them. They have no seams whatsoever, and they follow a pattern that is, from your perspective, you're going to see a round craft, and it's not going to have any adjuncts or weird things. Some of them, the bigger craft, those are the small ones. Most of them are spade shaped, just so you know, but they have to keep their emitters turned away from you so they don't power your life down, and they look round to you. What you don't realize is they're spade shaped, not triangular, but spade, like a spade. Okay. It's a serious thing when a craft is coming down. and its emitters are on everything, they accidentally knock whole cities out. This has happened, and they have to be careful. So what you're visually seeing under them is the round part of them, not the part that goes back the other way. There are another class of them that are bigger, and they are more, they're boomerang shaped. And you can see parts at the ends, they have tips like this. And they're huge. I mean, they're bloody huge, and they can array any way they want to. They can change their lights. They can make themselves look invisible to you and all that kind of stuff. Most of the time, the craft that you see in the sky are not ET, because they are making it so you cannot see them. At night, they can power up and they'll flash bulb you and let you know they're there, but you're not seeing the actual craft itself. They have lights that are so bright, they look so big in the sky, you think it's a big round ball. It's not. There's a giant craft behind that light, and it's being shielded by the size of that light. That's what people don't understand about it. So they think they're all round or, disc shaped or whatever. They're not. If you see a triangle that's matte black, run for your life. Go in the house, hide, because that is back engineered and they're deadly. There's another one that's absolutely triangle shaped, and they look flat when they go turn, like when they're up on their side, they look like a rectangle. And then when they go flat, you can barely see them. It's just a line, and they're matte black, and they are not ET. They're us. They have several different kinds. They have drones here that are unbelievably not okay. If you see something that has weird things sticking out of it, or you hear a propeller noise, or you hear a really high-pitched squealy kind of noise, that is not ET. ET's thrum. They have a very low-level frequency thrum to them, and a lot of people have really good hearing and can hear that, but they are not matte black. Nothing is matte black in ET. There are round drones here that are kind of matte. That's back engineered. There are drones here that are grayish looking, but they're not fully metallic, shiny, and they have seams in them. Those are back engineered. You just have to be careful. And like I said, there are no ETs here now, so anything you see in the sky is not them at all.
Those drones, you can see them in the Navy promo videos online. Those exact drones. So they're not hiding anything from us.
Right.
Like if people are seeing them, it's not something that's being hidden. Those drones are clear, and they're drones, and when it's AI, because you won't see anything backfiring into the ocean.
Right. Exactly.
So beware of that when you're seeing these things, because often people will share these videos and go, look at this drone. It's like, there's no movement in the ocean. That's not a drone. That's AI generated. Joe Smith, I wish I could say something positive about them. My experience was not positive. I'm biased to EBE because of what they showed me, just being honest. It's okay.
It's fine. You can, bless your heart. I'm not kidding you. I feel bad. I wish I knew your whole story, and here is not a good place to do that. It's not safe for you to talk to me now. But like I said, I'm out there. Let's talk. Let's let you talk it through. Let me hear what you have to say. I would love to empathize with you in some way, but I can't do it in public like this. It's just impossible. We would not have any time to get any information out to you at all. And that's the sum of where I'm trapped in this type of a conversation. So, but I feel bad for you.
Reach out to Dolly independently. Yeah. Here's another one.
Okay, Fun Talks TV. Remembering that you said ET left us back in 2020, I believe it was. Don't you tell people there is no point in doing CE5s now since they are not here? Aren't people just attracting MyLab UFOs? Well,
they actually left in late 2021, early 2022. The last of them were out in 2022. It's only been a couple of years. And so, they were still here. They were bugging out, and there was a lot of activity in those years, a lot. And the government knew it too. They were watching it happen. And yes, I tell people, if you're going to summon do a CE5, yes, summon them mentally. Ask them to show up. They can send orbs to you. They can remote view like I can do it. You'll see big blue orbs or yellow orbs or even orange orbs. Golden even will come right down to you. When you know it's an ET, it's like right in your face. They'll just come right down in the middle of everybody and just sit there and shine for you. Get it on camera. These are the things you want to see. You don't want to see lights that are see-through. They don't present that way at all. My aura, my orb is real blue, and it's solid as a rock. You can't see through it at all. And there's no face of mine in it. I am solidly blue. No mistaking it. The pictures of me in remote view are seriously dark blue. And I have a specific size. I don't come in a basketball. I come in probably in about the size of a softball. That's what I project. And so if you see, like in cameras, you have to remember that cameras are weird things. They pick up backlight. They pick up, they can't focus properly between me. Like if I'm standing here and 10 feet away from me, this camera's got to focus on me, from me, all the way over there and everything in between. And a camera pick one point to focus on and everything else goes blurry. So you see an object and then you see all these weird lights going around. What you don't realize is those are unfocused images that you can't see. But they're calling them orbs. No, they're not.
No, it's a flat projection. It's not
exactly
dimensional. Right. Okay. Katrin Camelon. Who or what stopped evil ETs from abducting Earth humans?
Nobody. There are no evil ETs, period.
Hi, Dr. Kelly Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Rollins, I have been seeing orange orbs. Oh my God, sorry. Orange orbs, rather, almost every night since moving to Florida in 2014. So I'm guessing they're not flying oranges in Florida. Sorry, I had to.
Florida, people don't talk about this. This is one of the biggest kept secrets there is. Florida has amazing, unbelievable psychic energy going through it. Okay. Thousands and thousands of very evolved people there. Remember, I can do it. You can do it too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of water in Florida.
In ETs, and electromagnetic energy down there is EMS. Don't believe that it has to be this or that. There's a lot of stuff in between. Always remember that. Okay.
Next.
People flock to it. Cypher Gray, have you seen Jesus, Dolly? You seem to have seen enough. I have to ask.
I have never asked to speak to Jesus. Preston did. Preston got him to show up, OBE. And he, it amazed me when he told me, he said, he got right up to him and he said, yes. And Preston didn't know what to say. And I don't think he had a really long conversation with him at all, hardly at all. But he did see him. He did present to him. What I know about Jesus, I've been taught, and that is Jesus is an entity's ascended master. He is interdimensional, and he came here at a time when we really needed to hear from this guy. And we're all children of God, all of us. ET refers to the God you think of as the All-Mind. And he is an ascended master, just like, Buddha, stuff like that. Okay.
Dalai Lama.
Next.
Andrew Rollins, what are the flashes of white light in the sky? I often see them while sky watching.
It could be high energy heat lightning. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I see lightning pops in the sky. You have to look at the weather around you. It's really good to understand how the weather works, because lightning can occur way, way up and it looks like big flash bulbs going off, and it's really heat lightning. And it's generated, electricity can be generated by heat, like from a volcano. And so you have to know what you're looking at. Then there are asteroids coming in that you can't really see them. They're so far out, or they've gotten so small that you see a big flash of light when they hit our atmosphere and it lights the whole sky up and you don't know what you're looking at. So there's a bunch of different things that you can be seeing. It's a natural phenomenon, and knowing more about science would help you understand it.
Okay, GGK, final question. That's so cute. Does the 2022 evacuation you talk about mean cryptids have also fled?
Cryptids is a very modern, well, it's not modern, it's been around a long time. It goes all the way back to the Greeks, okay? And it's been altered somewhat in its meaning now. Cryptid is an animal that people think they've seen or have seen or whatever. And I'm not sure, because the only cryptids I've ever seen, honest to goodness, I only saw one, and it's because it was from here. A cryptid is natural here that you've never seen before. That's what I learned about it. And that is, I actually saw what you would call a reptilian when I was a young kid. I was a teenager, and I used to go dig up Indian burial mounds in the Everglades. And I take the weekend to do it, take my canoe, load it up, and go to about a big mound and just sit out there from Friday night to Sunday morning, come home. And I was packing up one Sunday morning to get out, and my canoe was on, there were two mounds close to each other, and I walked across because, in the glades, it can only be up to your chest. And so I walked across to the next mound. And so my canoe is over there. And I'm getting the last, I'm trying to pack up, and the back of my neck went up, and I felt and heard it at the same time. I felt its presence, and I could feel that it was hungry. And I looked over my right shoulder, and I saw this big old lizard person. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I didn't even have to think about it. I was gone. I ran. I headed straight for the water. I ran over to and running water with sawgrass. That's fun. And I got in my canoe, and I'm like, get the hell out of there right now. I took nothing with me. I left. I was nonplussed for a long time over this. I was weirded out for a long time, and I had to really go over in my head, what the hell did I just see, And I realized two things right away when I calmed down and I had time to think about the scenario. I was trained by a ranger to survive. I was trained by a ranger to fight. I was trained by a ranger to do a lot of things you don't learn every day. And one of the things is to assess every situation and remember it point by point by point. I have a very good memory for this. I'm a good observer. And the two things I realized that it didn't move after me. When I ran, I had my peripheral vision and running back toward him, and he did not move. He watched me leave. This is a creature that could have overpowered me and eaten me for lunch any second. It let me go. So I had to consider what that meant. And when I got over myself a month later, I went back to get my stuff, which was destroyed, by the weather and everything, and animals and it. And I looked around for footprints, which, in the glades, it's hard to do. It rains all the time. No footprint's going to stay for a month. But I looked for telltale signs of how the heck it got there. How the heck did it get there? Where is it living? These are all questions I started going over, and I dissected the situation. And through my life, what I've come up with is this, and from what I've learned to teach, because you better believe they heard about it too. I went over it with them. This is a being that is from Earth. They have gone into hiding because we're dangerous people. We like to kill things and eat them. And we're predators, apex predators. They might be, but there aren't enough of them to overpower us, okay? And they don't have that emotional need to do that. They are slightly evolved. They've been around since the dinosaurs. They've had a long time through every iteration that this Earth has gone through and seen a lot. And I think they're morally a little bit better than we are. They eat fish and other crocodiles and stuff like that. Reptiles eat reptiles, just so you know.
Oh, that's sick.
Well, life is life. You have to eat.
I mean that they eat their own. It's like a chicken eating chicken.
No, well, chicken eat chicken. Didn't you know that?
Oh,
yes, they do. They predate chickens. Yeah.
Hamsters will eat hamsters. So that
really
traumatizing. I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to get to just a couple more questions since we're getting up to the top of the hour.
Yes, we are.
There's one right here. Sorry, guys. I wish I can keep going, but here's this guy right here.
UFO Cholo. Do any of you have any evidence of if this is you are claiming?
Yes.
Of this, yeah.
Preston Dennett vetted me for 6 years before he put symmetry out there. And you better believe he climbed in with a periscope. Okay, he knows everything about me there is to know. He's spoken with my family. He's spoken with my friends. He's seen my evidence. He's seen my medical evidence, and it's extensive. He's seen pictures, videos. I've described things to Preston that none of y'all have any clue about 60 or 70 years ago, that I would give him scientific information that y'all weren't sure of yet, and that there was a lot of theory about, but no proof. Well, as the time has gone by, I knew the proof was coming, and boop, there it was. I'll give you a couple. We know that a black hole is not a singularity. It's like a quasar. It spits energy out in jets that you can't visually see because the energy, the magnetism of it is so great, it's not letting the light out at you, but they do spit out. They are not a well of no return. It's like a generator at the center of every single solar system or galaxy. Other things that I've told them, there's no such thing as dark matter. It doesn't exist here. We are all light. No negative anything can survive here because the positivity that's in the light will negate it instantly. CERN got built to prove that there was dark energy, negative, antimatter. And they got in a contained environment. They had 7, and it lost containment. And they all disappeared suddenly and without warning because the minute natural matter hit it, poof, it was gone. The containment. Then they had 11, and again it happened. And you think that would convince them that their theory was wrong, and they've gone through every single test, experiment, everything, and there's no dark matter. They won't admit it. They want you to believe there's dark matter here because evil is dark, and it wants you to believe that it's all over the universe. It is not. It is here. It created itself here from us. So be careful.
Okay, we have time for one more. Sorry, I'm just trying to get everybody in.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna be able to archive.
Yeah.
Kendra says we have often heard and read that some ETs got permission to abduct some Earth humans in exchange for giving secrets Earth humans some advanced ET technology. What do you all know about that?
That it's poppycock.
I know zero.
Nothing. Eisenhower is not the only public figurehead that had contact with ET over the years. It's all over the planet. They came down and picked one in different time frames. Eisenhower was met with, and all they asked him was to please consider stop, push for no nukes, no nuclear power on our planet because it's a way to kill ourselves. No good can come of it. It is not something you want to do. And Eisenhower's response literally was, we need the deterrent because we have enemies. And all they said was, you've got to learn to love one another. And that's it. Now, the government, knowing all these figureheads all over the world over certain time periods, know that this is how ET felt. They also realized an unequivocal, absolute, dramatic silence from them after that ET wasn't going to give them anything because they would not listen. They would not consider anything positive about how we should treat one another and be. And ET permanently withdrew from them. They have had nothing to do with them ever since Eisenhower, exactly. And they never will again. These people are on their own.
Okay.
Okay, Joe Smith. Dolly, you have some anonymous DNA.
I have some DNA that does not match the DNA on anybody else on this planet. Yes.
Okay. Well, with that being said, what is a heck of a show? Went in a total other direction, but here we are, and there's a lot of questions answered. Yeah. So, Dolly, tell us what you have coming up because you have a pretty exciting event coming up.
Yes, I'm going to do a transitional talk in West Virginia on August the 17th. It is all over Preston's page. You can find the links to it. I have put it out on my messenger to everybody as well, and some of the groups. And what it is that I'm going to be, I'm given an opportunity by a group of people who are mostly pilots, military pilots, fighter pilots, a lot of them, and airline pilots and other people in the higher echelons of the government who want the truth. And they've been listening to me for a while, and they read one of them, who I will tell you his name is John Peterson, read Symmetry and called me, wanted to talk to me. And when we had the conversation, he said, I would love for you to come and give us something, talk about yourself, talk about what your proofs are. Can you bring things? And I said, sure. This is my first time out in public on my own since I came out. Everything else has either been YouTube or the book, and I will be exposing the truth. I will be giving my proofs. I will be talking about how you know what the truth is from history, and give you exactly what things mean and take you on a direct route to reality. And I hope if you're interested, you'll look it up. This is going to, they're going to charge for this. It's $65 in person. And then there's a live stream, and I'm not sure what that is. You can look it up. I know a lot of people are interested in it. And I really, really thought that this is a good platform for me to finally not leave you all in the dark about who I am, what I know, how I know it, and what the proofs are. So it's going to be interesting.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Right.
So
it's coming up quick. So, I mean, of course, you have people who, would love to have another show like this. Exactly. Just a total open mic. But tell everybody where they can find you, and of course, with Preston.
Well, I do have an Instagram now, and I am on X. Okay.
Spread the love. I kill them with kindness and love.
Nothing. Okay. If you ask me a question there, I'll answer you. But most of it, I'll stay out of the mix. No politics. No. And yeah. And so Instagram and X. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Messenger. I do have a YouTube channel. I have a few things on there, not much. And then the Lightgate, which is on YouTube and Facebook and on the United Public Radio Network, which I love. And I thank you very much for allowing me to come on here.
I love you too.
It's amazing.
And the show, for those who want to tune in and get more information, is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Central or 8 p.m. Eastern. It goes for 2 hours.
Right. Yeah. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Beautiful. And regular. We got some really cool. Guess who we got coming, Michelle? I don't know if you know about it or not. Press has told you yet. But you remember the movie with Robin Williams where he went to heaven because his wife, was looking for the man who wrote that book. And so he also wrote Somewhere in Time, and he did both those movies. And we got him. He's coming on the show.
Oh,
and
excellent.
I just want to give a thank you out. No kidding. To Karen Swain, because she's the one who put him in touch with us. So thank you, Karen. And that was very cool of her.
Very exciting.
And we got some other really good ones coming up too. Nice surprises. But that one, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that one. That one's going to be interesting. So yeah.
There it is. What dreams may come. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Man, I miss Robin Williams.
I'm just going to sign us off really quick. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to The Outer Realm tonight with myself and Amelia, and, of course, our special guest, Miss Dolly Safran, who has been very generous with her answers to all of these incredible questions. You guys in the chat room, you make it that much more exciting, and we are just really thrilled to see all of you guys in here participating. So thank you guys for that. Big thank you to Folgers Coffee for sponsoring tonight's show. Big thank you to Justin Snicker and Steve McGinnis. Of course, big thank you to United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3, 107.7 FM here in New Orleans. Always happy to be here. Tomorrow night, guys, we welcome we're going to have another UFO show tomorrow night. So with Kevin Estrella. And I have to tell you, very interesting guy. And he's the host of a popular radio show called Pyramids on Mars UFO Radio. He's got incredible information, lots of experiences to share. You are not going to want to miss this. He's just a very interesting guy. I'm going to leave that right there. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night. So good night and thank you all. Night.